Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here from simpleprogrammer.com. So I want to talk to you about something that I think is really important as far as focusing on what to learn in life and what is going to benefit you the most in life. And it's sort of some of the things that you see and that maybe you hear from other people and the way that people teach things that differ. So I want to talk about the difference between tactics and philosophy or principle teaching, okay? And there's a difference, definitely. I was just listening to a book. I'm not going to point out the book, but if you want to check out all the books that I review, you can check out my playlist here where I review books, and you can maybe figure it out. But I was listening to this book, and it had really good information in it. It had a really good message, and I agreed with most of the things in the book. But one of the things that irked me about the book, one of the things that kept me from saying, yes, this is awesome, the most awesome book ever, was that the book was so heavily focused on tactics, as opposed to the philosophy or the general principle of things, that the benefit was not as universal, right? And so what I mean by this, and let me break this down a little bit. So there's a difference between, okay, so you've heard the idea of you can feed a man a fish, or you can teach a man to fish and feed him for a lifetime. There's a little bit more to that. I think I would add to this, okay? So if you feed a man a fish, okay, what you're essentially doing is you're giving him something, right? This is like, you don't need to learn this, okay? I'm going to give you the result, or it's essentially cutting out the process. He can't do his own thing. He just is going to rely on you to give him fish, and you're going to solve an immediate problem, an immediate need, but you're not going to build capacity. So if you're living your life that way, it might be you're living your life paycheck to paycheck, and you're constantly just like going to work, and you're just working your hours. You're not learning anything. You're not expanding yourself, and you're getting money for what you're doing. That's you're being fed fish every day. Okay. Most of you aren't there, or maybe you're still there, but you're transitioning, and maybe you're at the teach a man to fish stage. So the teach a man to fish is essentially like, or teach a man to fish, is essentially you're interested in knowing how to do something specifically, right? So how to bake this cake, some instructions, how to fish in general, how to fish specifically in this context, in this lake, right? And that's going to be beneficial to you because you're going to be able to utilize that and take that to wherever you go. Hey, there's a lake here, I could fish, okay? And there's some benefits to that, but it's still going to be very tactical based, right? So what I mean by that is that it's not always going to work, and it's only going to work for the situation of fishing. So a lot of you are there with your learning, with your education, especially if you're on this channel, and maybe you're at work and you've realized you need to develop your skills, right? You need to increase your skills, you need to learn specific new technologies for you software developers out there, and you need to acquire new skills so that you're improving yourself and your capacity so you can make more money, you can earn more, and you're still kind of, trading your time for money. We'll get, beyond that, but it's okay, right? I mean, there's still some value and benefit in that. But where I think, again, this is the difference, I think, between tactics and philosophy, is that the learning how to fish is a tactic, okay? It's a way to get fish. But if you think about it, there's still one more higher level here, which is the philosophy of fishing, which is not just fishing, right? It's just philosophy of what's the principle behind here. It's sort of this, is like, maybe this is now, instead of giving a man a fish, or teaching a man to fish, it's teaching a man about why fishing works. Why does fishing catch fish? What is the principle behind this? Okay, and then you can derive multiple solutions or multiple techniques from that thing. That's the highest level principle. So at the highest level principle, right? At the lowest level thing, I say, here's a fish. I don't ask me how I got it, but here's a fucking fish, right? At the next level, it's like, okay, tell you what, I'm not going to give you a fish. You want this fish? Let me show you how you get this fish, okay? You got to do this. You get a fishing pole, get some fucking bait, put it on there, put the hook in there, cast it into there, and then when the fish bites, you freaking, and you reel it in, and you get the fish, and there you go, you got a fish, okay? And that's like steps to bake a cake, or make a dish or something like that. Okay, but then at the higher level, maybe I'm saying, look, okay, here's the thing. In life, you like fish, right? You like fish? Okay, good. You like fish, good. So you want something to eat. Okay, you hungry? So I'll tell you what, if you want something in life, here's how you get it, right? What you got to do is you got to come up with what are you going to offer? What value are you going to put into the world, into the lake? And you got to put that on a hook, and you got to put it out there. And it could be a hook, it could be a fishing rod, it doesn't matter what it is, but you got to take the value and you got to give it to someone else, and in exchange, that value is going to get you something, right? You start with a smaller value, or what value that you have, and you get something else in return to that, return for that. And you put in some work, and you put in some time, and you put in some effort, right? Maybe that's the concept behind it, or even just teaching the concept, the higher philosophy, there's always more angles, is to say that in life, you need to learn how to do things, right? And anything you want to learn how to do. I don't have to teach you how to fish, right? This could be the higher level of philosophy, is to say, I don't have to teach you how to fish. But if you want fish, right? The whole thing, the whole reason why we're going through this exercise is because if you want fish, you got to figure out how you get fish. And then you got to find someone to teach you how to do that, how to fish. If you want apples, maybe you got to figure out how to pick apples, or how to grow apple trees, an apple orchard. You see what I'm saying? And you can find someone to teach you that, or you can go find a book, or you can go and learn this thing. So if you want a result, you got to figure out the process that gets you that result. That's maybe the higher level philosophy. There's definitely more approaches to that. But my point is this, is like tactics definitely have their place and their value, right? I've done a bunch of Pluralsight courses. You can check out my courses here. And in a lot of those courses, I'm teaching you specifically tactics, how to program in this programming language. But if you've noticed, most of what I teach on this channel is not tactics. I teach some tactics, of course. I'm going to tell you how to do things, but I'm not giving you scripts for life, okay? Because if I give you a script for life, right, even I may give you some, but if I generally give you scripts for life, it's only going to apply to very contextual situations, right, in specific environments. And when the times change, when the environment changes, when the context changes, you don't understand the higher level principles. So instead, what I try to extol on this channel are philosophies, right? It's not just giving you a fish. It's not just teaching you how to fish. It's teaching you about why the concept of fishing works, why the bigger concept. And then if you have the philosophy, right, essentially you could say if you have the mindset, if you have the true understanding, right, then you can derive a lot of things from principles, right, from first principles, you could say, from principles, from axioms of how the universe works, and from philosophies of life philosophy, because now you can sort of figure shit out on your own, right? So that again, this is the thing, it's like I could equip you. This is the difference between, I would say, between education and intelligence, right, and true understanding and wisdom, right? At the end of the wisdom, if you're wise, you can figure out a lot of solutions to problems, right? Someone doesn't have to tell you, right, how to fish. Like a very wise person could kind of figure out how to fish without someone having to teach them. They could figure out ways to do this, to observe someone else who's fishing, to just work out from their own wisdom of the principle of, I need to probably give something to that fish or entice them in some way. You see what I'm saying? So I just want to, why am I bringing this up? Because in your life, okay, you should be seeking out wisdom and philosophy, and not so much the tactics, right? You should be seeking out principles. If you're going to spend your time learning things, I'm not saying that you don't have to learn tactics, right? For example, for you programmers out there, you have to learn a programming language. It's a specific thing, okay? You can't just learn the philosophy of programming languages. I mean, it's really important to know how to write good code. It's really important to know how programming languages work in the abstract, but you need to know the specifics of the programming language you're going to work with, because the syntax is important. So you need some tactics in your life, but if a majority of your life is spent learning tactics, okay, they're going to go out of date. You're going to forget some of them. They're going to not apply in a lot of different situations, right? They're going to be very situational, okay? Those things that's not the best thing to focus on. You need to be spending maybe 20% of your time learning tactics, okay? And 80% of time learning the wisdom and the mindset and the philosophy that's going to guide you through life. Because if you have the solid philosophy, right? If you think, right, would you rather be an educated man or a wise man? Right? You should be the wise one, okay? Because the wise one can figure out how to get any education that he needs. And in a lot of cases, he can derive his own education. He can derive his own systems and ways of solving problems. Whereas the just educated man that lacks the wisdom, he's good when it's like it's time to fish, and he's like, oh, I know how to fish, so yeah, fuck, I'm good at this shit, right? But when you're like, okay, now let's we're gonna go. I was gonna say spear fishing, but that's kind of fishing as well. But now we're gonna go and we're gonna make tunics out of leather. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, he's like, oh, I don't know that. I don't have the knowledge, so I guess I put my hands in my pocket, I'm stuck, right? Whereas the wise man is going to say, well, I could do that too. I've never done it before, but I can figure it out. And so, but he's equipped with a lot of philosophies. He's equipped with higher level thinking that is going to enable him to do all those things. So again, that's why on this channel, I focus on those higher level things. And again, when you read books, when you look at educational material, when you look at what you want to study, don't study as much on the tactics. I mean, tactics are good for a specific application of a thing that you need to do, right? When it comes down to the fact that you need to fish and you need to know how, read the fucking book on fishing, that's fine. But when you're like, okay, what kind of things are going to help me the most in my life and what kind of knowledge should I accumulate? It should be the wisdom kind, it should be the philosophy kind, it should be those higher level things that are going to lead to the lower level thinking, that are going to enable you to do better lower level thinking. So there you go. That's it. And again, when you're selecting books and stuff, and you hear the author speaking or you listen to the writing, and it's all about tactics, you should be thinking for yourself what are the principles. If you're conveying information to people, you should be thinking the principles, because again, it's great to it's better to teach a man to fish than to feed him a fish, but it's even better to explain to him why fishing works as a concept so that he could derive his own concepts, his own techniques for achieving what he wants out of life, rather than just being stuck with all that he can do is fish. All he can do is get fish, right? You see what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense to you. All right, if it does, if it doesn't, I don't know, but click that subscribe button below. Make sure you click the bell though, so you don't miss any of the videos that I'm doing here on the channel. I do about 2 to 3 videos a day. Yes, that's insane, but that's what I do. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Take care.